to switch the subject, and this is probably just my last thought. Where do you guys see the genre in 2021 and beyond? And I'll start with you, Doris. Where do you see the genre?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I can see what I hope for the genre. I hope that barrier breaks. I hope that, you know, we can hit an equality level. I hope that there's a day that comes that just because I'm from the country doesn't mean that I'm judged. You know, that I'm expected at a much lower level based on my music. Because that to me isn't fair. I mean, do I see, I want to see everybody build each other up and not tear each other down. That to me is a huge thing. There's plenty of room for us, for everybody in the genre right now, plus many more to grow and build. I mean, it's a dog fight when it doesn't need to be. To me, I look at it as y'all have dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, picture 5 dogs in a pen, and you throw that first, you know, steak in there, but you throw 4 over to the other side. All 5 of those dogs are going to be after that one steak. They don't see the other 4. And that's exactly what they're doing. And it's nonsense. People need to step back and realize what's going on. I mean, take these younger artists and build them up. And until they realize that, until they start doing that, the people that are blessed to be at the top, this genre is going to go nowhere outside of those top, 10 names.
True.
Unless you build it, do it on your own.
I think these artists got to realize that, they were once in a position like we were, or we are now, and they need to, be humble and, help and guide people like us to get into that situation. I think 2021 and beyond, I feel like these groups that are making it now, they need to fucking scout out to other people and do what they wish had happened to them and bring them up. And unfortunately, that's more than likely not going to happen. For example, like if Adam Calhoun's building his label, if he would bring more people in, and he probably is going to, but if people like that kept doing stuff like that, and Church did one, and maybe Justin Time did one, and all these people did that, then everybody worked together, it would grow. But unfortunately, it's a fucking popularity contest, and everybody's hogging that one fucking steak Doris was talking about. So it's probably going to be just like this in 2023.
All right, my last thought. What, as a media outlet, can we do to push the culture forward?
I'd like to see a country rap radio be developed. I really would, because then it's something that's constantly being streamed. And with that, you can throw in the littler artists to where, people are going to be like, wait, who the hell is that? Because you don't have that. You have.
But what's it going to be on, though?
No, we're Vic is working on country rap radio station.
I have an internet channel that it's called Ride 95, and I play independent artists. But I've decided at the beginning of the year and it's just 24 hours of music, just all day, every day, 24 hours, 360. And I decided to integrate 50% of my playlist to country rap. Now it's just a matter of me, because I don't want to eliminate the existing fan base I've had for the past 2 years. So I'm hoping, my mission is, to me, it's all hip hop. And if we got to generalize it, that's fine. But to me, it's all hip hop. And I want all the voices heard. So if I can make a person who listens to hip hop respect Doris and respect Buck Forrest, I've done my job. There's going to always be some form of division, whether it's a piece of cloth called a flag or an election with parties. There's going to be always some form of division. But if we can all find a common goal, we love this. We all just love this music. And we all just got different stories. Buck's story is different from Doris Ann's, which is different from Frank's, which is different from Vic's, but we all have a story that represents some form of struggle. We could really, I might be going through something that Doris Ann is going through, but because my genre's music is different from hers, she's not even going to hear that one thing that might help her life. And to me, it's just all about bridging the gap of helping each other. And I just feel like that's what the music is about. Like, stop generalizing, oh, well, they're country rap and there are a bunch of white people rapping, so there's no way that they can be talking about what the hell I like. But bro, you dealing with depression. That guy's dealing with depression. Shit, maybe they, like, I don't know. That's, to me, that's why I embarked on this journey. Because at this point in the game, at my age, and I have a very diverse family. If y'all ever check me out on Facebook, you'll see that my family is diverse from Hispanic to Caucasian. And to me, we can all help each other. And if music is the bridge and the business aspect is the bridge that we all can get a little money, and because at the end of the day, we all just want to take care of our families.
Right.
To me, if we could use, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I live in a world of unity that don't exist. But
Hey, you do. My white producer just recently stopped fucking with me because I rep the Confederate flag.
And the funny thing, we just talked about the Confederate flag on the last show, and
Yep.
I know.
And that totally opened my mind to the whole situation, because that before everybody would use it as like a division thing, regardless of how they feel that it means it, but nobody ever stopped to actually think how the other person feels.
Agreed. Totally agree.
I always say this: if everyone, and I ain't saying you got to sleep with them, but if everyone can get a friend of a different ethnic background and just open this, use these two holes in between this thing, and just listen, it's like sometimes some of this stuff will make sense because our all common goal is the same.
Facts, big facts. I actually have a song coming out about that, and I might, because I've been thinking about the video for it, and you guys might end up getting an invite to come up for it.
I mean, because like right now at my age, I prefer country rap, and I prefer country rap because in hip hop, I know 90% of them, they're lying. They're lying. Number one, they're lying, and number two.
So there's a lot of that in country rap too. So when I came into this, what I fell in love with was the realness that I believe was in this genre.
Well, I'd rather you lie about your big truck than lie about you having sex with 3 girls. And one of those girls might be my granddaughter. Like, I'm just saying, like, come on, man. Like, it's just too much. I listen to more country rap today than I do hip hop just because, like, I got a lot of little voices that look up to me. And it's my job to steer them in the right way. And I'm not mad at no rappers. I'm like, you know what, they're young, and when they get older, maybe their mindset will change. But sometimes when I look at hip hop and I look at the mental damage it tends to do, I'm like, man, damn. So, and I just want everybody to get a chance. So I want everybody to have a chance to feed their families off their God-given talent, and that's your voice.
Right.
Right?
Huh?
This is it's too big of a topic, bro. I can't even. You know me. I hate censorship, so I just want everybody to use their voice, whatever that voice is. You might be cussing somebody out. You might be rapping about raping somebody. Whatever the fuck you got on your mind, let the shit out, because somewhere out there somebody can relate, and you're gonna have a fan. I don't like it when people censor, and I definitely don't like when people don't take into effect what those words mean on the other side. Again, whatever you're saying, say it, because it's what you mean. But know that whatever you're saying, there's consequences sometimes that come with that. And it might be, you might say something that offends somebody. You might say something that was belligerent. You might alienate an entire subgenre of acronyms, and the whole LGBTQ community comes after you. It might happen. But if you meant it, say it. Fuck it, it's your words. Stand by them. But just don't. I don't want anybody to have to like not say something off of fear. But then at the same time, after you say it and you get an understanding of whatever you say it might have been wrong, accept that part. This is where we are in society, where a lot of people aren't accepting the other part. They're not even entertaining other other opinions because they believe so strong their bullshit that they can't smell somebody else's. Come on,
Yep.
fam. We got to do better than that as a society. It's just sick. And as music, there's always going to be hip hop. There's always going to be that rebellious nature. There's always going to be this voice that hadn't been heard, that somebody wants to put whatever music and rhythm behind it, and now we're calling it rap. That's never going to go away now that it's out here. And it's used across the globe to spark revolutions. I respect that. There's pieces and elements of country rap to where they aren't respecting the hip hop elements. The dissing is natural. It's all a part of hip hop. We talked about that in another podcast. It's never going to go away. It is as essential to hip hop as breakdancing and graffiti. Shit will never. It's a fundamental piece, but you gotta respect it. Like, you can't be like, well, we don't do that over here. Yes, you do. It's part of rap. If you're gonna bring rap over here and you're gonna use it, then you gotta accept all the other bullshit that comes with it. And dissing is part of it. Know what it is. Know what it's about. I don't like, and this is me on a ramble, I don't like it when the men in this genre are using the women to sell records. And I don't like it that how they're using it is totally fabricated. Like I'm talking about fabricated from the entire image and all of that shit. It's all fake. And we ain't talking about just the one that we talked about earlier in the conversation. We're talking about other pieces. Like it's I don't like it. But same shit happens in hip hop. So I gotta respect it because it happened over here. It's going to happen over here.
Higher standard than that. And a lot of the fans do.
You can't have a higher standard in your subgenre.
In a way, because what the subgenre was built on was realness.
Correct.
I mean,
it ain't here.
But
I agree with that.
But
I agree with all of that.
Could you see me out here rapping about trapping? I mean, I'll put out a whole record talking about trapping, and I guarantee you I'm talking about raccoons.
Oh, but let me say this. let me say this though. But see, that's the thing about the generation. You said the subgenre was built on realness. No, the genre was built on realness. It was only when the commercialism came, it changed. Go back to the history of hip hop. 8 million stories. Huh?
I said fuck commercialism.
But unfortunately, the person that's winning that we keep mentioning, that.
But the ultimate question is with every quick high, there's always a long fall down.
Yeah.
And my thing is I see it coming, because when the fan base realized that it was a facade, that it was all faked, that none of it's real, where's she gonna be at then?
I
don't see it. I don't. Now I'm going to cut you off, Vic. I don't see it falling, and I'm saying that we ain't got to mince words or beat around the bush. I don't see it happening in the near future because the machine has already started and the machine is already moving. And it's going to take a lot to stop the machine from moving. And as long as other females are binding to the bullshit and replying to it, you're just making the machine go further and further. It's not going to stop. Not. And this is all coming from somebody that used to work over there. It ain't happening. It not in 2021 and possibly 2022. As long as you entertain the bullshit, it will still be in your face and you're going to continue to smell it.
I personally think, from being a journalist, I don't have to be the top journalist. I just want to be the journalist with integrity that a Buck Forrest will meet a guy who's doing music and say, hey, you got to go talk to the Country Rap Report. Doris Ann and say, hey, you got to go talk to, because I've always wanted to just find me a nice, cozy spot in the middle. Because I agree, for as high as you go up, that's a long, hard fall down. But if you're in the middle, you can always find someone to appease to. And to me, I feel like some artists are just meant to be in the middle. But some artists probably can't mentally survive if they're not on top. So I don't know.
I want to feed my babies. At the end of the day, I want to make enough of a living to run my farm comfortably and feed my babies. I could care less about who's on top, who's on bottom, this isn't intercourse. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm perfectly
Could
fine.
be.
Jesus fuck.
He went there with it.
He did. At the end of the day, I have to be able to sleep at night. And if you can go to sleep at night and know that everything you're doing is fake, that's on you. That's your battle. That's your demons. I guarantee mine are 10 times worse, but at the end of the day, if you can go to sleep knowing and realizing that, that's your own problem. That's something you're going to have to wake up and deal with every fucking day. Right. And that's the way I look at it. I mean, we'll use her as an example. Honest to God, I pity her. I pity her because it cannot be easy to sit there and fake your daily life. It cannot be easy to sit there and fall at a man's feet. And that's what she's got to do. That's what she's got to do. And that goes for any artist that does that. If you have to live every day being somebody other than who you are, I feel bad for you.
I agree.
It's not. I came into this because I get to be who I am. And we'll talk about the whole, we'll go back to the whole Katie thing. I don't agree with the shit that happened with church. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that she can finally be who the fuck she is.
Agreed.
I'm glad, everybody knew she was a lesbian before she was with church. Which honestly, that was the whole kicker for me to realize the facade that they were doing at Mako with that situation. Because they had no idea anything about Katie and Katie's history. All they knew about was the situation with church. That was it. My thing is Katie was always a lesbian, but she hid it. She hid it because of the fact that it wasn't okay in the public eye. And it wasn't. Honest to God, I feel like she would have lost some fans because of it, but I don't feel like it would have been a huge jump. I don't feel like, and at the end of the day, Katie was our ticket. Katie was our ticket to open that gate. We don't have gay and lesbians. And honestly, anybody up at the top, especially now, because of the fact that Katie was bashed for being a lesbian, everybody in this genre is looked as we're racist homophobics. From the outside looking in.
She's not a black lesbian.
Huh?
She's not a black lesbian. What do you mean?
That is the two brands that country rap hold.
That is true.
Let me say this. Let me stop you there.
When I go to a show and I'm repping a Confederate flag, the first thing that is assumed is I'm a racist.
But you do understand why, right?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
However, it's the same thing. When you got people out here making videos, making fun of people that are lesbians and gays and whatever, in my head, you live in your own fucking world, be your own fucking person. I don't give a fuck what you do. It just don't try to push me to do it with you. That's the way I feel about it. So when you have people that are making videos and making fun of other people, yeah, it's comedy. But at the end of the day, it's definitely going to look homophobic. My thing is, there's a guy at the top right now that used it for the longest time that I'm not a homophobe. I have a song with a lesbian referring to Katie. And then the whole genre stands behind Savannah as she disses Katie for eating pussy.
Doris, you just don't give a damn, do you?
I don't give a fuck. So
Savannah did say that she likes anal and looks to rub on titties too, though.
I mean, hey, every girl does that kind of shit. As long as you don't like you, you know you're straight. So my thing is Katie was our ticket in more than one way. None of us females out here give a fuck about language. So Katie made what I call Taylor Swift music. When I was 14, 15 years old, I could relate to Taylor Swift. Well, maybe like 12, 13, whatever. They were those cornball lyrics. Granted, she's matured with age, but I'm talking like the beginning with Katie. Katie pulled in that younger fan base to where the rest of us females, me, for example, could come out and be like, no fucks given. Because it kind of rubs me the wrong way when I see a little kid walking around with a shirt that says no fucks given on it. I mean, to me, I'm a mom. I don't want my kids using that kind of language until they're old enough to use that kind of language. So I definitely don't want to see anybody else's kids doing that. So Katie offered that younger fan base a shot
to engage in country rap. Church does it too, but Katie was that female image. Her
Right.
lyrics were something that they could relate to. So now we don't have a female that does that. Because I sure as fuck don't want my daughter looking up to Savannah Dexter. Fuck, might as well let her listen to WAP if that's the case.
Wet ass pigs.
Wet ass pig. Right. But so that's what I'm getting at. So not only when we kicked Katie out of the genre, we lost that female image. Then we turned around and Katie was our gateway to pull in the people to make them realize we're not homophobes. So yeah, we kicked her out for being a lesbian, and now she's out making a bunch of fucking lesbian music. And everybody wants to be like, oh, well, that's not cool. Well, that's the thing. I look at her as Miley Cyrus now. She went from Hannah Montana to straight Miley. She went from this respectful girl who never showed her body off, who never did any of that, to full fucking circle doing, sex scenes and fucking lingerie. I mean,
Right.
So, at the end of the day, when Katie left our genre, yeah, I don't agree with what she did, but that kind of hurt our building aspect.
Right.
That kind of hurt pulling in certain fan bases. Granted, a lot of my fans are lesbians. A lot of my fans are gay. And I totally embrace that. I walk around all the time talking about how I have a penis. I mean, I really don't, but, I guarantee I have bigger balls than half the people in this shit. They just might be on my chest. I mean, it's a whole aspect of you can't be limiting, and that's what they're doing. And I know that they're not meaning to, but they are. They're not meaning to push out, huh?
When you say they, who are you talking about? They is in the fans, or they?
The big
Okay,
dogs.
okay.
The faces of this genre currently.
Okay.
And they're, like I said, they're not meaning to. They think it's funny. They think it's cool. They think it's cute. But at the same time, like, you can't have CEOs acting a fucking fool. And when you look at the pyramid of country rap, that's what they look like. That would be the place that they hold, is a fucking CEO spot. Because then you're going to have a bunch of people not wanting to come to work for you because you're a shitty ass employee who judges everybody. I mean, if they want the genre to build, they've got to stop limiting. They've got to stop putting a brand on things. They've got to stop giving the rest of us a much negative image just because they want to fuck off and be stupid. If they truly want to build this genre and they truly want to move forward, they've got to grow the fuck up.
Do you think that is one of their goals, to build the genre, or do they just not give a fuck and only care about themselves?
Honestly, I look at it as they made their spot, they're in their spot, and they don't give a fuck.
I agree.
Yeah. Right.
They look at it as, I have the money in my pocket. If I bring others with me, that means I have to share the money that's in my pocket.
Right.
They are selfish. Fucktards. We'll just go with the word fucktards. They are selfish fucktards.
Well,
I like that word. That's a good word.
They're what you call gatekeepers, and gatekeepers only allow who they want in. But this is my thing, and then I'm gonna shut it down. I don't think concerning ourselves with the gatekeepers is important, as opposed to touching the hearts and the minds of the fans, because the fans truly control who the gatekeepers are. But
I say that all the time. I tell new people that are like new artists that are coming in, I always tell them, don't worry about the other artists, worry about your fans.
Yeah.
Because you're not making money off these other I mean, they could bring you up, but majority of the time you're not going to make money making these artists happy. But you need to worry about, right.
It's the tearing down part that the gatekeepers do that keeps anybody else from growing. If they see anybody else on a come up that's not bowing down to them and doesn't hold them on a fucking pedestal, they're going to do whatever they can to get rid of them. At that point, it's not going to matter about your fan base. If I went on Facebook and I made a status talking shit about Ryan Upchurch. Not that I have anything negative to say, but if I were to do that, I guarantee 3/4 of my fan base is going to be gone.
Yeah, I agree.
So at the end of the day, they might be the gatekeepers and not to worry about them, but you have to worry about them. You have to worry about, you know, how you go about building, but staying in your own lane.
Yeah.
Without
I agree with
Your best goal is to just stay out of their way and pay attention to what you got going on and just worry about your own fan base. And then when you do that, you also don't pay attention to the drama, and then you don't have to feed into anything.
But it don't work like that, because if they see you growing and they see you making moves, they're going to pull you in, because then you become a threat. Instead of just some bottom guy who's out here making music, pulling in a couple people here and there, if you start gaining that traction, they're going to do whatever they can to pull you in. And if you don't go in, it's going to be fuck you.
All right, let me say this about the fans and country rap. Now, even though we speak of the gatekeepers, the fans at this point are anointing the gatekeepers. And I'm going to tell you why. There are people that country rap fans talk about, and those artists don't even want to be considered country rap, but they know that's the only way. Say a Tom McDonald, who is dope. Tom McDonald does not consider himself a country rapper, but only country rap fans are talking about Tom McDonald for the most part. So even though we have these 4 or 5 gatekeepers, if they do anything to brandish their image to the fans, they might lose. So to me, the question is, how do you build a fan? And I don't want you guys to answer that because that's for part 2, because we'll be here another hour. But I just think the fans right now, like we just had a whole conversation about what is country rap, and we still don't have an answer. Because country rap is what the fans are deeming it.
It's ever changing, just like society. So like politics are always changing. So like country rap's always going to be different.
Because if there were no country rap fans, and if all the fans supported Lil Wayne, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Baby, all the Lils, we need a country rapper with a Lil too. Would a Tom McDonald be winning? Would a Caskey be? Caskey's been at Cash Money for years, but now he's picking up traction because he's being embraced by country rap fans. But
No. So there's a division with the whole Caskey and Burden issue. Caskey is picking up.
Burden
Caskey, did you say Burden's trash?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Definitely one of those rappers that says, "Ooh, I'm so gangsta," and then turns around and puts a mega hat on and pretends to be country rap, and starts performing at redneck raves and shit. But with Caskey's always kind of been in his own lane. He's always kind of done his own thing. He's rode the whole black sheep shit. Like if you go to a Caskey show, it's not country rap fans at that show. I mean, one of the artists that I work with, he's opened for Caskey a few times. Fuck, I want to go open for Caskey if I get the shot. I don't. He's freaking dope. I'd love to work with Caskey. However, Caskey worked with Yella, and Yella doesn't exactly classify himself country rap either. Yella has.
We classify him as it.
Yes,
right.
The fans do.
I mean, we do. But, well, no, because it puts you underneath that umbrella, and with that umbrella, you're fucked. You're not taken serious in the other genre.
But
if a country rapper, if I were to walk up to Tech 9 and be like, Tech, I need you on a track, he's going to be like, dope, what kind of rapper are you? I'm going to be like, I'm a country rapper. He's going to laugh in my face. Ain't a single doubt in my mind he will laugh in my face.
But let me say this, going back to my initial statement. Yellow Wolf is more accepted now with a country rap tag than he was as a hip hop artist.
Yella has his old type of fan base. So his fan base, I follow the America page. Yella has, okay, so with country rap, you have a lot of conservatives, a lot of Republicans, a lot of, you know, your country people, your farmers, your, you know, so there's different cliques and different divisions between fans and country rap. if you show up to a Yellow Wolf concert, you ain't gonna see a single rebel flag. You ain't gonna see.
Not anymore.
You're gonna see a bunch of your country-based people who live the city life, who live the street life. That Helm Jelly. That's kind of like their clique, their type of fan base that they pull. Now, if you go to a Adam Calhoun show, you're gonna pull your roughnecks, as I call them. You're kind of like me, the whole I'll beat anybody's ass. That is the crowd that he pulls. Now, you go to a Lax concert, and the fan base majority that the Lax pull are your, oh, I'm rich and I'm country and I live in a subdivision with a razor. That is the typical pull that they have. It's not a bad thing, and I won't say those people aren't country, but there's different levels of this country shit.
But let me say this: if you go to it's the same thing in hip hop.
Yeah. I believe that.
So again, it's the same.
I'll tell you funniest story. All right. So when I got invited to my first, all right, so I'm literally out here country rap Rick Ross and this shit. Okay. I was a corrections officer before I became a rapper.
Oh my God.
Explains a lot on it. So basically a bunch of my sergeant was like, hey, we're all off this weekend. There's an Up Church the Redneck show in Covington, which is like the closest city to me. Okay. So I'm like, cool. I get all dressed all pretty because I think we're going to a fucking comedy club. All right. I was that far out of the loop of all of this that I was dressed super fucking pretty, girlified, which I hardly ever do, to go to this comedy club. We get there and I walk in and there's an artist by the name of Drix on stage. And he's talking about blue collar something. And I'm like, oh, like, it's not that it was bad. It was just, what the fuck did you all just bring me to? Like, not what I was expecting at all whatsoever. However, so Covington, like I said, is like one of the biggest cities near me. Okay. So when I'm talking city, I'm talking street, drugs, you know, that's the way my image was built growing up on this place. You didn't see a single person in those streets. Single person. Saturday night, nobody. You had one black guy walking down the street and he looked scared. All you see is the city filled with pickup trucks, lifted trucks, rebel flags flying everywhere. And the fan base, like, I'm not talking shit, but it kind of reminded me of a family reunion. But like you had your aunt there with the cutoff shirt, you know, she's heavy set, and the cutoff pants once upon a time that became shorts down to like her knees. You know, I mean, it reminded me of a family reunion. It was weird because I'm like, I am way overdressed for this shit. But it taught me that as an artist, it taught me that there's whole different fan bases to this shit. And that's what the whole Yellow Wolf, Kasky and Burden thing is Kasky already had, like we talked about earlier, Kasky already had his diehard following. That man could commit murder and he gonna have 10 people stand up and be like, nah, I was with him the whole time. And they ain't never met that man in person. But they gonna show up to court and they gonna prove that guy's innocent and give him an alibi. He had that pre-built fan base going into this. A lot of his people became Burden followers because of when they worked together. So Burden's going to have that fan base that Kasky helped him build turn against him. The only thing Burden had left was he was wearing a MAGA hat. So he's got these country rappers looking at Kasky like, bro, you got tattoos all over your face. You're out here talking about slinging drugs and smacking bitches and, you know, all this other shit. So, of course, they're going to be like, yeah, go Burden. But in reality, it was a fucking pissing contest. That's what it always is. If there's not a real, legit fucking beef, like, bitch, give me your address. I already tried that like 4 times. They won't do it. You know, I'm going to show up at your fucking doorstep I'm gonna go do a video in your hometown, send you an invite to it. We can go World Star. Like, if that shit's not going on, because you know that's the country shit. That's how we deal with shit in the country. You know, or as Jelly put it, if you're not pulling up, blowing this dude's brains out, there's no reason to beef. Go.
Let me tell you, you know, if you really want to do it, this is old hip hop way. Book the artist for a show.
And then snatch his chain on the way out.
No, you ain't got to pull up. Book the artist. That was done in hip hop. Trick in Detroit booked Trick Daddy for a show. Just not in his name. You ain't got to get an address. Just book them. Book them in your town. They're not even going to think.
Don't play. I'm already working on that.
Don't let me. I'm just joking.
Yeah. Don't play. We're already in the process of that. And I just booked shows in Florida. So
Don't do it.
that's between you and I.
So look.
World Star Hip Hop.
Absolutely.
Who owns World Star Hip Hop?
If I'm not mistaken,
Is that a thing?
Michael Knight.
Yes. No, it's World Star Country Rap.
No shit.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Michael Knight because they also own Country Rap Insider, which is definitely Michael Knight, which he was blackballed because something about drugging people and yeah, I don't know. There was
that man had an hour-long diss song against every big name.
Yeah,
yes.
And it was trash.
Yeah,
he basically told them all, look, I created this genre is me, and I am now your daddy. That was the whole sum of the hour-long diss track.
All right, Buck, Doris, we gotta let you guys go. We'll be on here all night. But before I let you guys go,
I got somebody here to pick up a pig, so.
Buck, let the people know really quick because you have a brand new project out. Let them know about your project. I can't let you leave without mentioning your project. And Doris, I can't leave about you talking about what you got, your records. And I can't let you guys go without letting the people know what you got going out.
All right, so my new album, Plead the Fifth, is out on every streaming platform. It's on YouTube, the whole 9 yards, Spotify. It's got songs like Plead the Fifth, Blazer Gang, fucking Monster, Been About It. You know, all my best songs are on it. I worked on that album for a whole year straight just to make sure it was perfect. And then I dropped it on Super Bowl Sunday like a dumbass. I didn't even notice. Like when I sent it off to my distribution, I got it back and I was like, wait a minute, that's the fucking Super Bowl. Ain't nobody gonna be paying attention.
Doris, what you got out there?
All right, so recently I dropped the diss track, which is called Target Practice, and then in quotations, it's Swap Donkey Diss. Then before that I dropped, well, let's see here. Recently I dropped Bourbon on Ice, and I dropped the track about my kids called My Whole World, which was kind of introducing, you know, talking about my first year coming into this and how it affected my home life. I mean, you'll also get more personal on a level of my 5-year-old is actually mentally disabled. So I talk about that briefly and the struggles in that. Within the next month, I do plan on dropping the video for the diss track. And then we're working on releasing another track probably within the next month as well with a video. If I'm not mistaken, I think the title for that one is Genesis 4:11. I don't know if you're a very biblical person, but you'll get. I thought about naming my first album 50 Shades of Doris Ann, because I'm very bipolar and even worse in my music. So you'll get tracks that are like fun, girly country, like Transmission, which is a booty shaking song. And then you'll get songs like Insanity that's out, which I talk about, you know, a lot of fighting my own demons and my own battles. And then you'll get songs like within the next couple months, I'll be releasing a few singing tracks. My majority of my music is strictly rap, but I feel like it's about time I branched. So you'll get a track that's called Sing It Louder, which back in October, my mom had a double heart attack, which prompted my move back home because I now run the farm and I'm her primary caregiver on top of being mom and raising the kids and doing music. But Sing It Louder is definitely a track that's aimed at the influence that my mom had on me to get into music. You'll get, especially with the visual for that one, you'll get a lot more insight on my history, on my past than what you do currently. Genesis 4:11 is probably like my favorite track that I've wrote to date. If you're a biblical person, in Genesis 4:11, it refers to the mark of Cain. It talks about, how Cain killed his brother, and then God cursed him with this mark of darkness to where, he was forced to live a life full of pain, which I relate to on so many levels. Like, that's actually a tattoo that I have, is the mark of Cain. Because, I mean, my life, I have a lot of good, but there's definitely a lot of bad. So within the next year, that's definitely something that everybody's going to see a lot more of is what I've been through and what I'm currently going through and why I am and who I am today. I have a track out called From the Fields. It was the very first track I ever recorded and ever released. And it actually talks about how I had my daughter when I was only 14 and I dropped out of school, got my GED, started college. And then second verse talks about how I've been dealing with, my son passing back in 2014. It's not the greatest track out there, but I'll tell you, believe it or not, it's probably my most requested when I go to shows. But my battery is dying. So,
right. So look, Doris, we're gonna definitely get you back on. We're gonna definitely get Doris back on the show. Buck, we're gonna definitely get you back on the show. I definitely appreciate you guys for definitely coming on, giving your insight on this thing we call country rap. And man, continued success. Doris battery died. And man, I definitely appreciate you guys. All right, until next time, man. Look, everybody checking out the show, do me a big favor. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click like. Make sure you hit the notification button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. All you artists, tell people the Country Rap Report. They got a platform for you to tell your story. Spank, anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
No, I'm glad we got some insight from what the artist was seeing. The whole blacklisting and blackballing, that concerns me. I'm not even gonna lie, fam. That's didn't see it when I was there and in it and in the midst of it. I didn't see it at all. And I gotta dig some more to see where their perspective, because I'm not calling them a lie. They're artists themselves, so they got their own perspective. But I gotta definitely dig into that, because they're kind of concerning, because us as media people, gatekeepers also control that shit too. Yep. So and I don't want them motherfuckers like trying to throw blacklists at us or saying that we ain't valid or whatever, because we try to give an unbiased, honest opinion, and we try to give a lot of people that deserve some shine a little spotlight. And yeah, that spotlight is already on them. They don't like it being shined off of them. So I'm not saying that we got to tread lightly, because that is not how I operate or you. But we'll definitely have to keep our ear to the street about this gatekeeper shit. That's concerning. It ain't, and it's not even in country. It's not in gospel rap. It's not in gay rap. I don't think it's in most of the other subgenres. But if it's over here, then that's a problem. That almost means that they may be on the cusp of becoming mainstream, because this is the mainstream bullshit that you're dealing with hip hop. So that's a plus for the subgenre, but it's a negative because here comes all the other bullshit. Yeah. And that's the sad part.
All right, man. Buck, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Doris, thank you. I know your phone died. Country Rap Report. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
All right, fam. Later.